Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader and action figure that got way too close to a light bulb. Like most Republicans, McConnell has been very upset that corporations like Delta and Coca-Cola are speaking out against Georgia's new voter restriction law, which limits drop boxes, makes it illegal to pass out water to people waiting in line, and lets people skip to the front if they're wearing boat shoes. And now, McConnell is telling corporations to just stay out of politics completely, with one small exception.
There's also big news concerning the fallout from Georgia's new laws restricting voter access. Major League Baseball announced July's All-Star Game will be played in Denver following its removal from Atlanta in protest of the Georgia law. Today, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, traditionally a big supporter of corporate free speech, slammed companies like Coca-Cola and Delta for speaking out against the law.
Republicans buy stock and fly on planes and drink Coca-Cola too. So what I'm saying here is I think this is quite stupid to jump in the middle of a highly controversial issue, particularly when they got their facts wrong. I'm not talking about political contributions. Most of them contribute to both sides. They have political action committees. That's fine. It's legal. It's appropriate. I support that. I'm talking about taking a position on a highly incendiary issue like this and punishing a community or a state because you don't like a particular law they passed. I just think it's stupid.
Now that's my Mitch right there. Ha ha! Look at this Mitch. Mitch ass nigga. Keep your mouth shut and hand over the money. Woo! That's literally what bank robbers say. For real, Mitch McConnell does not give a fuck, man. He just lays out the game for you straight. Here's a political opinion for you. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, motherfucker. Dollar bill. And you know, this is especially hilarious coming from Mitch McConnell. Because don't forget, he helped create the situation today where politicians are so dependent on big business for campaign spending that they basically let companies write all of the laws. But you see, Mitch, after you spent decades helping companies intervene in politics, you can't now be upset that companies want to intervene in politics. The monster you created is coming after you. Just like how you enabled Trump and then he came after you. Or like how you enabled your foreskin and then it took over your neck. And by the way, I like how McConnell is especially offended that businesses would take a position in a highly controversial issue. Because I mean, like, if the issue isn't controversial, then why would they announce their position at all? What does that mean? It would be weird if Coca-Cola came out like, it is our official position as a company that it can be nice to sleep in on the weekend. Don't at me. Don't at me. Moving on to international news. Back in 2018, you might remember that Donald Trump took some time off of golf to tear up the deal that was supposed to keep Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And now, Joe Biden's attempt to get things back on track is off to a delicate start.
The U.S. and Iran began indirect talks today to discuss possible U.S. re-entry into the 2015 Iran nuclear deal.
Iranian and American officials held talks today in Vienna. Well, sort of, but their representatives didn't meet face to face. Instead, each group spoke with European diplomats who then shuttled back and forth across the city between the two parties, hoping to move the conversation along.
Okay, you gotta admit, this is hilarious. The United States and Iran are so at odds that they won't even talk directly to each other. They're just passing messages through other people like they're in middle school. France, could you please tell Iran that we can be friends again, but only if they say they're sorry first? France, maybe you could go and tell America that they started it, so they should apologize first. We started the fight? We are, what about the hostages? I'm not talking to you, America. I was talking to France. Okay, everybody, calm down, calm down. Let's just all have a little sex and we can figure this out, huh? And don't get it twisted, repairing this relationship is gonna be tough. But that is what Biden signed up for. He's gonna spend his whole presidency repairing the things that Trump messed up. Getting control of the pandemic, fixing the post office, canceling the White House subscription to Wet Butt magazine. You don't need a paper copy. It's all online now. And finally, let's get into some technology news. We're all familiar with Siri, right? the surveillance state omni-spy who helps us schedule meetings. But the next time you ask Siri to do something for you, the voice that says it doesn't know what you mean could sound a little different.
Siri is getting a bit of a voice makeover. Apple's virtual assistant will now feature 4 voice options, 2 more than its previous update. Now, Siri will also no longer default to a female-sounding voice in order to be more inclusive. Apple changed things up after other companies' virtual assistants faced backlash for all defaulting to female voices. Apple says you're going to notice these Siri changes in a software update later this year.
I'm sure that Apple has its reasons, but it's kind of an asshole move to fire Siri in the middle of a pandemic. You didn't hear this from me, but just the other day, I heard Siri asking Alexa if she could borrow some money. Okay, I understand why they're changing this, but I'm a little worried about having a male Siri. Hey, Siri, how do I get to the opera?
Dude, you want to go to the opera? The game is on tonight.
No, bro. I meant how do I get to Buffalo Wild Wings? You know I smash. Right, Siri? Hey, Siri, you know I smash, right?